I started getting symptoms in February last year. Just really bad pain in my ovaries, and I knew it wasn't ovulation pain. It was quite strong, very, like I couldn't walk properly. So I knew something was just telling me there was something wrong. So I made an appointment for the doctor for the next day. She told me to get a scan. So she sent me upstairs to get a scan straight away. And I had made an appointment for that Friday. So a few days later, she called me the next day and said, "Don't come in Friday, can you come in now?" And I said, yeah, sure, I'll come in now. So I got me and my son, my youngest son, ready. We went to the doctor's, and she had this look on her face and she said, "Do you have anyone else with you, or do you just have your son?" And I said, "Oh, it's just me." And she's like, "Oh, is there anyone at home?" And I said, "No, should there be someone at home?" And she's like, "Yeah, maybe." And I said, "What's going on?" And she's like, "Well, we found a 13 centimetre mass on your ovaries." And I said, "Oh, okay," thinking that it was just a cyst or, nothing too serious. And she kept looking at me and I said, "I don't really understand what you're saying." And she said, "Well, it's quite big, it's taken over your whole ovary, and we need to do something about it straight away." And I said, "Okay." And I said, "Are you saying that this could be cancer or something?" And she said, "Yes." And I was like, "Oh, okay." It hit me like a ton of bricks, but I was just like, okay, that's all right, I'll just get myself home. So me and Jager left, and before I could even drive off, I just broke down. I called Aaron and told him she thinks that I have cancer, and it was just full on from that second. From a couple of weeks afterwards, it was sort of just back and forths with the doctor. But my doctor was absolutely amazing. She called me personally every couple of days to see how I was going. She was personally calling the hospital to try and move things along. She was great. So they made an appointment for me to go to the hospital to have another scan, which they did confirm that it was now 14 centimetres and that it would have to be removed, but they were not concerned. They said it won't be cancer, it's just a cyst that needs to be removed because it's obviously causing you quite a lot of pain, so we should remove it. So he made an appointment to have the operation the following week. So I was excited about that. I was like, okay, this thing's finally going to come out next week. That night, I couldn't sleep. I was in excruciating pain that I've never felt before. I knew something was wrong, and I thought, I've just got to get up and get these kids to school, and then hopefully I could go back to sleep or something. But then before that, I tried to get out of bed and I just collapsed, and I think it was about 10 to 7 in the morning, and I knew my mum wouldn't have left for work yet. She leaves at 7. So I called her. I said, "You have to come, something's wrong." And so she came in, and I was throwing up in the toilet. I was dripping with sweat. I was screaming in pain. I said to her, "Get the kids out, and I'm calling an ambulance." So she got the kids ready for school, took them to my friend's house, because I just didn't want them to see me like that. And the ambulance came, and they were trying to get a drip in me and everything, and they couldn't even find a vein because I think I was so dehydrated. And then that's it. I went non-responsive. I don't really remember anything else. So I remember sort of waking up in the ambulance and they were giving me this stuff in my nose. It was, I don't know, morphine or something. It was helping with the pain anyway. And so we got to the hospital and I was just like, what is going on, because everything was fine the day before. I was still in a lot of pain, but my surgery was booked, everything was going fine, and now I'm in here and I don't even know what's going on. And then, so they took me in for the surgery on the Monday, and yeah, that's when I woke up, and I remember that my doctor saying, okay, it was ovarian cancer and we've had to remove both your ovaries and give you a hysterectomy. And I just remember thinking in my head, I knew that. I knew that there was something wrong. I knew from that second that I got that pain that it was always going to be something more than what everyone was saying. I just knew it was going to be the worst that it could be. And then they spoke about chemo. That was the first time that anyone had ever mentioned chemo. I knew that it was cancer, but no one had ever said that if it is cancer, you would have to have chemotherapy. No one ever said that to me. So when they did mention that, I was just shocked. You know, I had no idea that it was, I just thought they'd removed it and then that was it. And then I started the chemo and everything was okay. I knew it was going to be okay. The chemo was hard, but it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. I was very, very lucky in that I didn't get sick. I was tired for a few days, but otherwise I was very, very lucky. They gave me this whole book on things to expect when you go through chemo, and it was very, very overwhelming reading some of the things that could happen. Even at one stage I thought, I'm not doing this. I'm not going through this and putting my kids through this. Is horrible. I was so lucky that nothing bad happened to me. I'm pretty sure my mum said something about would she have to have chemo, and I laughed and said, Mum, no, it's not like that. And now I think back and I think, oh, I was quite naive. I really didn't know, but then it also annoys me a little bit too, because it's like, well, come on, I was only 28 or 28. Maybe they should have explained things a little bit more.
Yeah.
Even with the whole hysterectomy thing and menopause never got really explained to me. I mean, look, I don't want to badmouth the hospital. They were great. They were fantastic. Yeah. What they might think is, it's not a big deal. Need to know every detail. I didn't know that I was going to go through menopause and have hot flushes and a lot of the symptoms that come with menopause. All I knew about menopause was it sort of happened when you got older, and they get moody and have hot flushes. That's all I ever knew about menopause. The doctors never really went on with much about that. And I think that's the one thing I've struggled with probably the most is the menopause, which I still struggle with every single day. And it's probably been the hardest because the cancer's done now, the chemo's done now, but menopause, I'm gonna be going through this for still. I actually don't even know how long I'm gonna go through this. I don't actually know. I try and Google things and it doesn't really give you exact answers. The menopause has probably been the hardest part to deal with. It's quite not embarrassing. I mean, I'm not embarrassed of it, but it's sort of a bit lonely when you think that you go through menopause at such a young age. I never realised that there was so many things that come with it. Things like memory loss, I struggle with quite a bit. The mood swings, which my poor family has to put up with on the daily, which I feel terrible about. The hot flushes. Now, hot flushes, I've heard people complain about them, and I just used to think, oh, you're just getting hot, like, surely it's not that bad. The hot flushes are, horrible. Very, very horrible. It's hard. I've been on HRT, hormone replacement treatment, but then I did some research on that, and that was coming back as there's links that it could cause breast cancer. So I stopped them. I took myself off them straight away because I already feel like I could already have maybe more chance of getting breast cancer now that I've had ovarian. So that's always something that I'm thinking of. So I don't want to do anything that's going to potentially cause it even more. While all of this was going on, before I was diagnosed, the kids just knew that I had something growing in my stomach and it needed to be removed. It was no big deal. They knew that I was in pain, but they just knew that something needed to be taken out of my stomach. When I was diagnosed with the cancer, I thought, I have to tell my kids this. But I didn't do it straight away. I actually didn't tell them for probably 2 or 3 weeks. But then everyone started finding out, and my biggest fear was one of my kids finding out that their mum has cancer of somebody else. I was just petrified that would happen. And I thought, I've got to tell these kids. I didn't want to. It was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. So I was laying in bed and I called Aaron and I said, we need to tell these kids now before they find out of somebody else. And he said, okay. So I called them in, and my biggest concern was telling my oldest, Jesse, because he's 10, he knows what cancer is, and it's something he's always been scared of. Even as a little kid, he used to be scared of cancer because he used to see it on the news or on TV, and you'd see this very, very sick person who had cancer and they died. That's all he could really get from cancer, is if you get cancer, you get very sick and then you die. So I just didn't want to tell him because I just knew that he was going to be so scared. So they were sitting there and I said, I have to tell you something, but do not freak out. It's going to be fine. I'm going to be okay. It's going to be fine, I promise. And already Jesse's face went white and I thought, oh no, I don't want to tell this kid. And I said, what they had to take out of my stomach was cancer, and Jesse's face just dropped. He was white. I said, but I'm going to be okay. They've got a special medicine that I have to have, and that's going to make me fine, and that's okay. And he said, are you going to die? I said, no, I'm not going to die. I'm going to be okay. Everyone's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. I'll have my medicine, and then that'll be it. The other two, so my 7-year-old and the 3-year-old, didn't really quite understand. Jackson looked at Jesse with a worried look because he was thinking, why is he so worried? I don't understand. But I said, it's fine, Jax. I'm going to be okay. He's like, okay. It's always been fine ever since. They've never really gotten too upset about it. I did used to try and say to them, how are you feeling about everything? And they were like, fine, as long as you're okay. They could see that I was okay. We had a couple of little scares when I wasn't feeling too well, so I did have to go back into hospital, and they would be scared, but they could see straight away that I was okay and everything was going to be fine. I didn't always go into full detail about how I was feeling, but I always wanted to make sure I was completely honest with them, so that I had the cancer, I had to have chemo, I was going to lose my hair. There were going to be times when I wouldn't be able to get out of bed, possibly. I was going to start looking quite sick. I wanted to make sure that they knew everything about it, and just to know that it was just a temporary thing. We're going to do this for this 6 months, and then everything's going to be fine. Go back to normal. My hair grows back. I always made out to them that I didn't care about my hair. I always said, it's just hair. I'm going to shave it and it's going to grow back. It's no big deal. Whereas secretly I would probably, have a cry in the shower about losing my hair. But I always said to them, it's just hair. It will grow back. It's not a big deal. So don't worry about it. A couple of weeks after the chemo, my first round of chemo, I noticed that my hair was starting to fall out, and it was getting to the point where it was quite noticeable on my clothes and stuff, so I didn't really want to leave the house because I was molting, really. I just had this hair falling out, and I was really self-conscious about walking around a supermarket or something with hair falling out. So my best friend is a hairdresser, and she always said to me, as soon as your hair starts falling out, come in. She goes, we'll do it at night so no one else is there. Bring the kids and we'll have fun. We'll cut your hair funny and give you random hairstyles and we'll let the kids take turns in shaving your head. So we did that. We went to a salon and we all just had a really fun night. The kids gave me a mohawk and cut all one side of my hair off and left the other, and they all thought it was hilarious and we had a really fun time. They all took turns in shaving it and it was just fun. It was fun for them so they could see that it's really no big deal. It is just hair. It's going to grow back. And they could see, well, Mum's having fun with it, so it's fine. I actually thought to myself that I would go home that night and cry once everyone was in bed and everything, but I didn't. I actually went home and it was this, I don't know, sort of free, liberating feeling having no hair. It was like, wow, I look okay. It's not going to fall out everywhere. I've sort of, got there before the chemo could get there, so I've cut it off first, and I actually really enjoyed it. I enjoyed having no hair. Yeah, so my advice to other mums would be 100% honesty, be upfront with the kids at all times. I mean, obviously there's probably some things you wouldn't tell the kids, but just honesty, tell them what's going on. So if you do have to go into the hospital because you're not feeling well, tell them, I don't feel well, so I'm going to go to the hospital. It'll be fine. But tell them, don't, make up things or anything, because I think they need to be included as much as you can. I think the more you're honest with them, the less worried they'll get. If they start finding out that you're not being completely honest, it might scare them even more. And just getting on with life, trying to keep routine as normal as possible. I know it's hard, but to try and keep that routine as normal as possible, and still try and be their mum, still try and have a laugh when you can. I used to always think to myself, I'd love to just be able to lay in bed and have a break for a bit and let everyone else do everything. But whilst you're laying in bed and you can't actually do anything because, one, you're so physically tired, you can't do anything. And two, you're in so much pain that you can't even walk properly. And laying there and hearing their life still go on, everyone's still getting ready for bed and doing lunch boxes and doing the dishes, and me laying there listening to all that was actually heartbreaking. It was horrible. Sorry. I haven't talked about this for so long. I felt useless. I felt bad. I hated it. And then being in hospital, I used to cry myself to sleep every night because I just wanted to go home. And I used to think, God, every single thing that I used to complain about, cooking dinner and doing the dishes and doing washing and vacuuming the house and screaming at the kids to get ready, they're all the things that I missed so much. And I just wanted to do all that again. I wanted to do all those things that I thought I hated doing. I just wanted to be a mum again, because for a while there I had to stop, and it was horrible. It was really hard. Probably the most helpful thing for me when it came to family and friends was not to have sympathy, for no one to change. I just didn't want anybody to change. Yeah. I just wanted my friends just to still be my friends. I'm still the same person. So I still met up with my girlfriends quite a lot. There's a group of us high school friends that we've been friends with forever. So we made a day that they came to my house. We had a couple of glasses of wine and laughed and laughed and laughed, and it was just the best day, because they didn't look at me like, oh, she's sick now, like we can't have a glass of wine or we can't have a laugh. They just looked at me like I'm still just me. There's no difference. Same with my family. Probably the first time I seen certain family members, it was quite upsetting, which is completely understandable. But when it came to my brothers and my auntie and uncles and everything, it was just, I was just the same. They'd ask me how I was and I'd say how I was, and then that was it. We'd just be normal. I think that was and is the most important thing for anyone that goes through this or anything else, is to just try and keep everything as normal as possible. Something that helped me a lot was looking up other girls that had ovarian cancer, and just finding out more information about it. I didn't really get a lot of information from the hospital. It was pretty much just, okay, you've got ovarian cancer, you need to have chemotherapy, we'll see you in 6 weeks, was basically how it went. So I was like, I need to know more about this. So I went on Facebook and I searched ovarian cancer groups, ovarian cancer questions. I just kept searching things. Ovarian Cancer Australia came up, and as sad as it was reading a lot of other women's stories, I felt then straight away that I wasn't alone. There was all these other people out there. There was a lot of things that I found out that I didn't really know about. It was very informative. I felt like I was a part of that group as well. I felt like I was, not alone anymore, that there was other people who felt the same way as me. It was amazing reading everyone's stories, because I was like, oh my God, yes, I understand, that's how I feel too, or oh my God, somebody actually gets how I feel. Because for a while you think, oh, no one gets it. So it was a massive help for me. I went to the ovarian cancer, what's it called that I went to?
Q&A forum.
I went to the ovarian cancer Q&A forum, which was great. I took my mum and my partner, and we had such a really good day. It was very, very interesting hearing things from the doctor's point of view and the researcher's point of view. Very informative. I learnt a lot. It was really good. It was a nice little feeling. It was quite intimate. There wasn't too many people. Hearing the ladies' stories that have been through this and them say, I'm okay now, I went through all this, it was really hard, but I'm okay. It was like, oh, okay, there's hope. Seeing all these, wonderful ladies that are doing well and getting on with life, they looked amazing. It was really